in general, the spells that I'm going to be picking up are some of the best in the game for each school and ones that I would highly recommend. So to get started, guys, we're going to be going to the ice school. I do have 28 training points right now. That's why I'm doing this video. I bought all my training points back because I didn't really like how I spent them, and I had better ideas of how I used them on other characters, so I'm just going to fix how I spent them on this one. So first things, I'm going to want to go up to Tower Shield in the ice school. Tower Shield's a really good spell. It's minus 50% to all damage no matter what it's coming from, and it's for level 16. It's going to take a few training points to get it, but I highly recommend it, and I say it's probably one of the best spells in the game. Alright guys, and for our second spell, we're going to be wanting Weakness, which takes 3 training points from the Balanced School Trainer. Weakness is another damage reducing spell, minus 25% to all damage, and you put it on the enemy, and it's for 0 pips as well. And I highly recommend that one because alongside with Tower Shield, you can reduce a lot of enemy damage, and it can save your life a lot in PvP and help you get a lot farther in the game. Alright guys, and next we're going to be training Spirit Blade at Niles in the Crocus Sphinx, and this is only 1 training point, and that is a plus 35% blade to death, myth, and life. If you're an elemental school, you can get a plus 35% to ice, storm, and fire, but we are on a life character, so we are going to be getting Spirit Blade. You can also get the traps as well, but I feel like those are not worth it for 1 pip, and I do not use them. But if you would like to use that, you can go ahead and spend a training point on it. It would not be a bad idea. Alright guys, now we're at the Death School in Wizard City / Nightshade, and we're going to be getting Feint. Feint is plus 70% to your next damage spell, but it also puts a plus 30% trap on you for the enemy to use, but it's only 1 pip. And if you're going first in PvP, this can completely change how the match turns out, and for boss battles it is incredibly helpful. It takes quite a few training points to get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 training points, but I highly recommend training into the Death School to get this, guys, because it is incredibly useful. And for 1 pip, I mean, there's not really anything else in the game damage boosting wise that can compare to it. So I highly recommend you guys picking this one up. Alright guys, next we're going to be at the Sun School Trainer in the Floating Land, and this is where we're going to be getting Gargantuan. It takes 4 training points to get it, but it's a really good spell. Another, very important spell in the game for higher levels. It's a complete necessity for PvP and for questing. It's plus 225 damage to any spell, and as you can see, that can help out for obvious reasons. And so yeah guys, for adding damage to all your spells, you're definitely going to want to train into the Sun School. We're also going to be getting Colossal and Zafaria in a minute, so I'll get back to you guys when we get to our next spells. Alright guys, we're here in Unicorn Way in Wizard City with Diego, and he gives a couple spells as well. Some of them are ranked and some of them are for everybody. I would highly recommend picking up Stun Block here, because it can really help you out if somebody's going to combo you in PvP and in boss battles as well. If there's a boss that uses cheats that stuns a lot, or if your enemy in PvP is using something like Medusa with a 2-round stun, it can be really beneficial to avoid that by using Stun Block. So that's Stun Block for you guys. I would highly recommend you pick that one up as well. Alright guys, and one more spell here in Nightside is sold by Mortis, and it's called Infection. It's a really good one for PvP. It's minus 50% to all healing spells on the enemy for 0 pips. Really great. And it's also really good for bosses in the game that use cheats to heal, or that just heal a lot in general. It can help win a lot of boss battles and a lot of PvP matches. So if you're into that, guys, I would highly recommend you stop by Mortis to check that one out. Alright guys, we are in the Arcanum with Velma. We're going to be getting Shadow Shrike. You can get this spell in Chrysalis as well, but we're just getting it here just because. We're going to add that one to our spell book. I highly recommend you pick this one up if you're going against bosses that are the same school as you. If you guys are going against people in PvP that like to use a lot of shields. If you are going against bosses that use cheats shields, if you're going against somebody with a ton of resist, all sorts of stuff, guys. All sorts of stuff. And it gives you a boost of 10 damage. It does give you minus 25% health though, but you know, you can get rid of that by doing a lot more damage, and it's worth it in the end, guys. It's super viable, and I would highly recommend you guys pick this one up if you meet the level requirements. Alright guys, now we are back in the Arcanum talking to Stellar Gaze, because he has a few spells that we're really interested in that are star spells, such as Fortify and Infallible. Some people might like Vengeance and Empowerment, but I'm going to go for Infallible because that is a really good spell for PvP, and Fortify just because it's good all around for questing, and especially for PvP as well, because Fortify gives minus 15% to all incoming damage for 4 rounds for 0 pips. And so if you're going against a boss that's really strong, as well as a PvP enemy, minus 15% along with your tower shield and your weakness is a lot of damage off. So stacking all those in conjunction is a really good idea. So if you're interested in resist setups, I'd definitely check out Fortify. And if you are into damage, I'd recommend Infallible because it does give you more accuracy. So the higher damage schools do have a lot less accuracy, so that helps out a lot, as well as 15% pierce. So if they are shielding or they do have a lot of resist, it's technically giving you 15% more damage because it's taking away 15% of their debuffs. So I'd highly recommend you guys check those 2 spells out from the Star School. You can find these in Celestia as well. I just stopped in the Arcanum because I was here for showing you guys the last spell. Alright guys, we're here in 3 points in Azteca at the Sun School Trainer. We're going to be picking up Potent Trap, really good one, along with Sharpened Blade with our last 2 training points. And that'll be all 28 of our training points, guys. Super exciting. I picked those 2 up because they're really useful in PvP if you want to have a stronger blade, or you want to just use 2 blades one round after another. It's really good for that, and for blade stacking for bosses it is extremely useful. And the trap is really good for feints. You can double stack feints, or even triple stack, quadruple stack, you know, if you have gear and treasure card feints. And so it's really helpful in the game. And so yeah guys, I would definitely pick those ones up. We're here in the waterfront with the Sun School Trainer. We're going to be stopping here for Colossal. It's another damage buff to every single damage spell in the game, plus 275 damage. And that's obviously really good because, you know, more damage is a huge benefit in this game, and it's a lot better than Gargantuan, but it is for a higher level. But we are able to obtain it, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this helped somebody out. These spells are probably the best ones in the game, in my opinion. They're the most useful. Again, going up into Ice, into Tower Shield. No Storm, no Myth, no Life, because this is a life character. If you were not life, I'd recommend going up to Satyr, because Satyr is just a great for 4 pips, 900 health basically. Very helpful for obvious reasons in PvP and in questing. Again, up to Feint and Death, plus 75 or plus 70% damage, and that's really helpful because more damage, it's a lot quicker for killing enemies in PvP and bosses. And for balance spells, I'd go for that blade, the triple blade. I'd definitely go for weakness because minus 25%, that's a quarter of their damage, that's quite a bit. And for astral spells, I'd go up to Colossal for the Sun. I'd go Infallible for Star, and along with Fortify for the Star School. Those are the 2 Star School spells that I really think are beneficial, and the Sun spells are definitely beneficial in the game. And as well for Shadow spells, it's really up to preference, but I'd recommend everybody pick up Shadow Shrike. The other ones are kind of up to your play style, but Shadow Shrike is good for every single school, no matter where you're at in the game. As long as you're high enough level to get it, it's good for PvP and it's good for questing. So thank you guys for tuning in again, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop that down in the comments section. And until next time guys, take care.